to it. So we know Bishop been talking about pulling down strongholds. Amen. Since Independence Day. Since declaring your independence. And Pastor King touched on it's wartime. Say it's wartime. Turn with me today and let's go to 2 Corinthians 10. We're going to do verses 3 and 4. Say Jesus when y'all get there. And it go, though we walk in the flesh, we do not war according to the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh, but divinely powerful for destruction of fortress. In other words, strongholds. Say old things, we battle. And we don't wrestle against flesh and blood like the world do, but we wrestle spiritually. That's our war. Turn to 2 Corinthians 5:17. Say Jesus when you get there. And it reads, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away, and behold, all things have become new. God is doing the work. Here comes the new. Now all things are of God. When you turn away, then it become new. When we started this walk of life, we were naturally started in flesh. We conform to the flesh. To be clear, we conform to the ways of this world. It's all we knew first. We didn't automatically strap up with the whole armor of God. The helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the belt of truth, the shield of faith. We didn't know all that. And today I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm going to give y'all a little bit of my testimony. Say old things have washed and new is coming. See, growing up, my mama tried to shelter us from the inner city, so she moved out. She tried to find a better way for us. And everything she did, she had the power to provide a better living and to break the cycle. See, my family has changed. Everybody in my family, they're either a gang member or a drug dealer. So mom's tried to take that. She tried to change that, show something different. And she did her best, though. She did her best. She did her best. Even though me and my brother, we strayed away, she did her best. Man, I lacked my father's identity. When I was 5 years old, he left the house. I ain't coming back, period. Point blank. End all, be all. But what we didn't know, God was going to set somebody else to step in as father. That's my daddy. He didn't know, we didn't know, me nor my brother, that this was going to come about. Man. And to help me, guide me along the way and make good decisions, he helped my moms. And I thank him for that. But I was rebellious. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was that rebel child. You ain't my daddy. Shut up. Y'all remember the Stepdaddy song? You remember it, don't you? We used to play that and tease them. You know what I'm saying? You ain't my daddy. Shut up. We did that. How many of y'all remember going through that rebellious phase, though? Parents can't tell us nothing. The Bible talks about attacking your seed, and I was a prime example with strongholds that held me bound deep into sin. If your peers don't have your best interests at heart, they're not your friends. Forget about it. If y'all don't have the same goals or mindsets that I have to get where I'm going, sayonara. And remember, the decisions that you make has the potential of being a stronghold. Growing up watching my cousins and them kind of grabbed me. So by nature, what moms was trying to keep away from us, we started banging. We started drug dealing. Y'all look at me now, I'm in red. Back in the day, you wouldn't catch me in this. Period, point blank, I'm not having it. That's just how it was. I'm just being honest. I was stuck in a trap. 12 years old. I started gang banging. By the time I was 17 years old, I ended up in the county jail on my way to prison. Strongholds. That's from gangbanging, trying to be active. We soldiers out here. You disrespect my section, I'm gonna disrespect yours. We gotta earn stripes. This is what it's about. 17 years old, facing 5 to 7 years. If I went to trial, I was 21. They was gonna max me out. Imagine that. I'd have been almost 40 years old before I came home. I wouldn't have had no seeds. Man, I remember going through that fire clearly. 23-hour lockdown. Only time you was gonna come out was for that hour. To take a shower, use the phone, hit a little rec yard. At 17 years old. Mind you, this was 2 months before my graduation. So I had to go to the school of hard knocks. Amen. Man, the decisions that we make, remember, potential strongholds. Potential strongholds. Don't let nobody take you to where you don't want to be. If you got that gut feeling that this ain't right, follow that gut feeling. If y'all know this ain't for you, don't do it. That gut feeling is God talking to you. You in the wrong place, son. You in the wrong place, daughter. Let's get it right. Let's turn the other direction. Man. I got to a point where I lost hope while I was sitting there. They wasn't finna come down. They offered me a plea for 3 to 6 years. Take it or leave it. Sat on the table for almost 4 months. I sat there, I was like, you know what, forget it. Then they finally came with a bond reduction. It cost $75,000 to get me out of jail. Tell me about it. The mistakes that we make, they'll cost you. So when that bond reduction came through, they dropped it to $18,000. 10%. Mind you, I wasn't gonna make it out because I was with my brother, who just so happened to be out on bond from getting caught 3 months prior. So when he violated his bond, they wasn't gonna give us our car back. A beautiful 65 Chevy Impala. That was just gonna be gone. When they finally gave it back, and I was able to come home. On house arrest. Can't go nowhere. If you're not going to church or going to work, forget about it. You in the house just like you was sitting in that cell for 23 hours a day. You can't go nowhere. No more than 100 feet from my front door. Stuck in the house. You want to be a basketball player, a football player, a doctor, or a lawyer? Choose a better path. And it's kind of hard for y'all nowadays because everything y'all listen to on the radio is about gang banging, about smoking weed, popping pills, stuff that y'all don't need to be doing. That'll kill you. Eat your brain cells. Don't go that way. Choose something better to listen to. Strongholds. So what I did was to try to change my ways. I got my diploma. I took my classes for different certifications. I attended Bible study. Heck, we even had Bible study in our cell. We wasn't even supposed to be doing it. Tyronne can relate. Man, did all that, and it still wasn't gonna happen. How many of y'all know a couple days later they came back with another plea for 1 to 5 years, and 2.5 was where they was gonna cap it. 2.5. I still would have missed Caden. I still would have missed him. How many of y'all know the judge mitigated my system and gave me 1 year? Strongholds. 4 years on probation, and I still couldn't get it right. The same cycles mama was trying to break by moving us a different direction, they had me twisted. The same path she tried to keep me from, I led. Mind you, I ran the streets with my older relatives and my brother. But now, hold on. Let me take you one more spot. Now, I wasn't even home a year, right? After I came home and turned in my credits to Chandler High and got my diploma, after I missed all of my opportunities, I still couldn't get it right. I was going to cosmetology school. And one day, I decided to get a ride with one of my cousins. And we had some bad intentions. And he had did some things in the car before he picked me up. So mind you, he picked me up, we pick his girlfriend up, and we go straight to the south side. Bad intentions. And we get pulled over in the neighborhood. Car reeking. Girlfriend freaks out and sprays some air freshener. Here come the cop, lo and behold. Roll the window down, smoke hit him all in his face. Oh, okay, let me get everybody's IDs. Ran our names. In my head, I was like, here we go again. Pulled us all out the car, handcuffed us, searched the car, and found some paraphernalia. They thought it was mine because I was sitting in the back seat next to the bag that it was in. If that bag don't say Empire, sir, that's not my bag. I didn't even know it was another backpack back there. So my mom comes around the corner. The church is on the other side of the neighborhood, so she came quick. She looked at me. She go, again? Really, Timothy? Again? I just knew I was gone. But my cousin stood up. He said, it's mine. Let them go. Just that and the third. Let me go. Mind you, this is a violation of my probation. For one, I wasn't supposed to be with him because we both felons. Two, it was some stuff in the car that wasn't supposed to be in the car. But it was there. Could have caught another case. But I didn't learn from it. I kept on going for a whole nother year. Before I met my wife, oh my goodness. Before I met my wife, the strongholds. I told everybody I denounced myself, but I didn't. I was still active. But when I met my wife, all that changed. The Bible talks about he who finds a wife finds a good thing and finds favor with the Lord. That niche I was missing, I found in my wife. That extra love I was looking for, I found in my wife. I needed that in my life because where I was going, I was most definitely on my way back to prison. Here's another part that I left out. In sentencing, they told me if I violated my probation, I had a suspended 12-year sentence. If my probation officer would have violated me, that's 12 years. I was only 18 years old at this time. I was in the county jail when I turned 18. Came home and still didn't learn until I met my wife. Then we found out about our first child a year and a half later. I cried like a baby for the simple fact that the strongholds. I didn't really know my father like that. When I tried and tried and tried, I got put down. I said, forget it. I got a daddy at home anyway. Somebody that was giving me game. He say, son, you gonna learn. I done been down that path. He say 25 years, my whole life. Before I even knew him, he went through his journey. A similar journey. But he changed too. Amen. And through that change in him, I knew I could change. Amen. Be careful on what y'all do as kids. Because what you do now can hinder you in the future. Amen. all that time of going through it, not knowing if I was going to be able to feed myself or if I was going to make it home, that's because of the decisions I made. And I knew better. Grandma drug us to church, made us sing in the choir, made us did skits with the youth at church. Made us. But all the while, everybody I grew up with in that church became gangbangers. Everybody. And some of them finally got it together after they went to prison. Or they almost had a taste of death. Don't wait till it's too late. Amen. Choose your path wisely. Amen. Follow your dreams and your goals. Use us as examples. We've been in y'all position. All that back talking and you can't tell me nothing and I don't want to listen to nobody. I'm my own person. I do what I do. Amen. Mama can't tell me nothing. She can get it too. Being snazzy, that ain't cool. You're supposed to honor your parents. They tell you that in Proverbs. I had to learn the hard way. So everything I'm telling y'all today, make sure y'all take heed to that. Understand somebody been where y'all at. It's somebody in here that had anger problems, deal with depression. Life just weighing down on them while they going through school. Give it to God. Amen. I heard a preacher man say a couple weeks ago, this altar is an altar of peace. Leave your burdens and gain peace. Find comfort in Him. Let Him lead you. Amen. July 19th, 2014, my stronghold started falling off. Amen. Amen. I was reborn. I was baptized. Amen. Put that picture up for me, Joy. Amen. Thank you, Lord. I had other photos to show y'all, but I couldn't get them to work. But that's it right there. Amen. That's a new person right there. Amen. Somebody say I made it. I made it. Say I made it. I made it. But God. Watch this. This is my last point. It took 18 years for me and my father to bond and try to make a relationship. And I did it because I looked at my kids and didn't want that same relationship. Break chains. Remember, choose wisely. Make your decisions wisely. Embark your journey. And don't listen to what others say if they don't have the good intentions of their heart for you. Amen. Amen.